Here's what the 12-team college football playoff would have looked like last season. As a reminder, we'll have the 5 highest ranked conference champs, the 4 Power 4 champs, and the highest ranked group of 5 champ. The Power 4 champs get a first round bye and they'll be ranked 1 through 4. Then the committee will rank teams 5 through 12 according to what they think is appropriate. In the first round, the higher ranked team will be playing a home game, and keep in mind the group of 5 champ is probably always going to be the 12th seed. Then after the first round, all remaining games will be played at a neutral site. So looking back to last year, obviously your top 4 is what it is: Michigan 1, Washington 2, Texas 3, Alabama 4. The 5 seed would have been Florida State, and they would have hosted the highest ranked group of 5 team, which would have been Liberty at that 12th seed. Your 8 seed Oregon would have hosted the 9 seed Missouri. The winner goes on to play Michigan. 6 seed Georgia hosts 11 seed Ole Miss. Winner goes on to play Texas. And then 7 seed Ohio State would host 10 seed Penn State, with the winner going on to play Washington. And here's how I think how it probably would have played out. Florida State beats Liberty. They move on to play Alabama. I think Alabama wins that game. Oregon goes on to play Michigan. Dan Lanning gets his first big win over Missouri, but I think Michigan wins this game. Georgia beats Ole Miss and goes on to play Texas, and I think Georgia wins this game. Then Ohio State would beat Penn State, and they would go on to play Washington. I think Washington also wins that one. You have your Alabama Michigan matchup. That was a classic game that we got last year, and you still get that game. And then you get Georgia Washington in the other semifinal. I still think Michigan beats Alabama, and we've seen that. We know that's what happens. Georgia Washington is interesting. The teams that usually beat Georgia or test Georgia are able to do that because they have a big-time NFL quarterback and a big-time receiver, or just a really good receiving room. Washington had that with Michael Penix Jr., Rome Odunze, Jalen McMillan, Polk, all of those guys. And I think if you look what happened in the national championship game a couple years ago, where Alabama and Jameson Williams were tearing up Georgia and beating them in that game before Jameson Williams got hurt. And that's one of the ways he beat them, with a big-time quarterback and a big-time receiver. So I'd probably give the edge to Washington because that receiving room was so good and Michael Penix was great all year. So we still get a Michigan-Washington national championship, and we saw how that plays out. Michigan wins that game.